Linux has taken many huge W's in 2025, like the market share in the United States hitting 5% and with more influencers talking about or using Linux. Even PewDiePie made his switch to Linux just a few months ago. In this video, I'm going to cover the things that Linux does better than Windows. Before I do that, I'm thanking you guys for the support on my most recent video, which topped the former most viewed video in my channel after just 2 days. Also, only 4.6% of you guys that are watching my videos are subscribed, so you know the drill, hit subscribe. So without further ado, let's begin the video. GNU/Linux, or more commonly known as Linux, is a sort of kernel operating system made by Linus Torvalds in 1991. For quite a while, still even up to this day, Linux has always been seen as the next best option or the last one to be chosen, always getting behind macOS and Windows. But Linux can actually get a lot of things done better than Windows and macOS. But since Windows is the most used operating system, I will be putting Linux up against Windows and not macOS. So if you've been living under a rock or don't use Windows, Microsoft is apparently ending the support of Windows 10 in October 14th, forcing users who were on Windows 10 to upgrade to Windows 11. This may seem fine at first until if you have an older CPU like below Intel 7th generation chips or under AMD Ryzen 1000 series, you will realize that when trying to upgrade to Windows 11, it has a strict TPM 2.0 requirement, which these chips don't really support. And the worst part is, these chips aren't even that bad in terms of gaming performance and are still very capable of doing things like playing modern games such as Cyberpunk, but can't even run Windows 11. I mean, it sounds a little pathetic to me, the fact that Microsoft, a multi-billion-dollar corporation, can't even optimize their software to run on mid-range chips from 2017. Which I'm saying this again runs Cyberpunk well at medium settings. Some of you may just say, use Windows 10 LTSC or long-term service. I don't remember, never mind. But, well, that is for another video actually. I'm gonna do a video on that, like, maybe next time. So again, where was I? Yes, Windows 11, not capable or very capable CPUs. And this is one of the things Linux does a lot better than Windows, supporting lower end hardware. And I'm telling you that CPUs like that aren't even low end. Although Linux can go lower, you can literally install Puppy Linux or Q4 OS on a literal 20-year-old laptop and it would run just fine. Compared to any other operating system, Linux dominates in low-end hardware performance, except for Temple OS, but again, that is for another video. So moving on to the next field, which is really important and slept on by a lot of PC and computer users, privacy and security. In terms of security, Linux is much more secure than Windows because less will malware distributors target Linux due to its open source nature, and virus has less power compared to proprietary systems like Windows. So for the most part, Linux has security by obscurity. As for privacy, Windows collects data from you, like for advertising and what they claim to be to adjust for a better user experience, although we all know what's going behind the curtain. Linux, however, doesn't collect user info in any way. Linux is also a lot better for programming due to its open source nature and terminal level efficiency. Linux has a lot more developer friendly environment which developers can tailor to their needs. Next up, we have way more customization abilities than Windows. In Windows, you can do quite a few neat things in customization, like changing between themes, accent colors, icons, taskbar transparency, and wallpaper. Wait, actually not icons. Never mind. In Linux, on the other hand, we can change icons, and we can change entire desktops with one of the many desktop environments like GNOME, KDE Plasma, Hyperland, Cinnamon, XFCE, LXD, LXQT, and even just a black TTY terminal, and much more. You can even switch between a tiling window manager and a floating window manager, which again I'll explain in another video. In customization, Linux blows Windows out of the water with Windows not even putting up a fight. If you were Windows users that has switched to Linux like me, or you're dual booting Linux and Windows, you'll notice that Linux has way better update management than Windows. On Windows, it requires and forces you to restart after every update. If you're shutting down and there's a Windows update available, you will have to wait for the update to finish and only then will it shut down. On Linux, the system updates whenever you want it to, and sometimes will recommend you to reboot your system when the update is finished, but you don't really need to. I can just sit back and continue what I'm doing while the update runs in the background. Next up is stability. While Windows can often have issues with blue screens, Linux distros like Ubuntu and Debian are very stable and only receive updates every few months. If you want more recent updates, but it might sacrifice a little bit of stability, you can use distros like Arch or Fedora. Now, up with the last one is evolution. Has evolved drastically, surging in improvement over the years, while Windows has been getting worse and worse since Windows 7. Linux has seen great improvements, especially in gaming, while Windows has been going downhill. And that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. Maybe leave a comment on what you think about this, and God bless you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.